Hi, I'm Dr. Cynthia, and I want to tell you a little story. When I was 4 years old, my dad left for 13 months to go to the South Pacific. He was the chief engineer building the first hydrogen bomb. So after he watched the bomb explode, he came home. I was so excited to see him. So that night at dinner, my little pigtails are bobbling along and I'm wiggling in my chair. And I could imagine this fallout from the bomb, getting into the water, getting into the plants and the soil. But I couldn't really see how to get it out. So very innocently at dinner, I asked, who will clean up the mess? And those were my words for how do we get the radiation out of the earth and water. My dad stood up. The whole room got quiet. Go to your room. It was the only time in my life I was ever sent to my room. I was scared. I got in the corner and I got all scrunched up. And I was trying to figure out, why do people want to kill each other? I didn't get it. And that night something switched on inside and three things happened. One was I really wanted to understand why people killed each other and why there was so much violence in the world. I just didn't get it. The second thing was I realized I had to keep quiet. And the third thing was I was just a little girl, and whatever I thought didn't really matter. So fast forward into me being an adult, that night triggered kind of the whole trajectory of my life. So I kept studying about how the brain works and quantum physics and molecular biology. And I got a PhD in cellular transformation. I became a psychotherapist and I worked with clients for years, kind of going into this inner violence and seeing where that originated from, how it got passed down. I was just very curious about that. And what I realized was that this violence is passed down through our lineage and it gets embedded in our nervous system. So I started to learn how to unwind all those old patterns that get entwined in our bodies when we're kids and that get passed down through our lineage. So as I was learning, I discovered how to unwind all those patterns in our nervous system. I also discovered that this violence has been in humanity for a very long time, and it's been passed down in our DNA. And I discovered how to release those shadows of violence that are embedded in the DNA. Then I realized that I had been keeping quiet my whole life to protect my dad. You see, his work is top secret. And when I was a little kid, I couldn't ever tell anybody what he did. I had to lie about my dad's work. And I'm sure it was very important at the time because we lived in Southern California in the middle of the suburbs. And the American public knew nothing about all the bombs that were being built and exploded in the South Pacific and Nevada. But my keeping quiet was ingrained in my nervous system, but I realized as an adult that my keeping quiet was also squishing down me, that my essence couldn't be expressed, that I was keeping myself small to protect my dad. And the third thing that happened that night was that as a woman, as a little girl, what I thought and what I said didn't really matter. And that's also been entwined in this violence. So the violence got turned inside me. And I started feeling like I was worthless, like I didn't matter, that whatever I said didn't mean anything. And so years and years of that inner violence were woven into my nervous system. So it's been quite a process of learning how to speak up, how to actually claim my worth and say what I know. And what I know has come from deep within my feminine. It's not this linear thought, but it's my intuition. It's in my guts. It's in my being of knowing and seeing things. And I know this has happened to a lot of you, that you've had to keep quiet. And as children, you might have had to keep quiet to survive, like me. But now is the time. It's time for us to speak up. It's time to step forward and claim who you really are. Claim your inner knowing and this amazing wisdom you have inside. Because right now it's time to make a ruckus. So I would love for you to visit my website, drcynthiamiller.com, to learn more. And follow me on Instagram. It's dr_Cynthia. So follow me on Instagram and send me a direct message. I would love to connect with you. Thanks. Bye.